Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 12 o'clock. It's a Sunday. It's time for a Q&A. Now, this is where I take all the questions that you've asked over the course of the week and I try to answer them to the best of my ability. Now, two things that you need to know. First of all, if I've missed your question, I'm very sorry. Sometimes I do miss the questions. If I've missed it, leave it in the comments to this video and I'll get back to it next week. I typically film these on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. It's currently... don't have a watch. It's currently sometime in the afternoon on the Wednesday. So if you want to guarantee to get your question answered, make sure that you ask it before kind of Tuesday at the latest. And also, don't forget, this is kind of a very off-the-cuff thing. I don't read these questions beforehand. The answers you're getting are my raw, unfiltered opinion. If I think a video could be a longer form video, I will definitely make that in the coming weeks and months. So once again, I want to say to you, because we're nearing the end of the week here at Magic TV, thank you once again for everyone that subscribed to the Netrix, for everyone subscribed to Magic TV, for anyone that's watched a video. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. If it wasn't for you guys watching this content, I would not be doing it, and I'm only doing it because of you guys. So thank you very much. Now, without further ado, we're going to get straight into it because there are a bunch of questions. So let's get into this week's Q&A. Okay, so the first question is from TV Elliot. How you doing, buddy? Craig, I'm a professional cabinet maker, wood machinist, and also a long-time hobbyist magician. I guess it's only recently occurred to me that I could combine these two. My question is, what is a good resource for beginning to build magic boxes? Sawing a Lady in Half, Zigzag Woman, etc. There's a few places... let me tell you right now if I can find some of them. So yeah, there's a few different ones. I've just done illusion plans, and there's a website that's come up here called illusionplans.co.uk. illusionplans.co.uk, and they've got a bunch of different illusions, including the origami, the mini cube zag, passing zone, mirror penetration. And it said, with these digital illusion plans, download and start building your own illusions. So that one's illusionplans.co.uk. You can download the digital plans off there. The Osborne illusion plans are something that's absolutely worth looking at. So the Osborne illusion plans, if you Google Osborne illusion plans, they've done illusion plans on a ton of different stuff. Now, you also want to check out JC Sum. So JC Sum bought out a book, and I'm looking at the moment. It's actually available in Vanishing Ink, and he's got on here Corporate Illusions Made Easy, and it goes, yeah, so the first illusion book of its kind, extensive discussion on presenting illusions for corporate events, how to go around building the illusions in the book. And they've got a ton of them here: corporate restraint, rising identity, showcase, global crossing, executive travel, the sword box metaphor, jeweled revelation, the conference, the big reveal. JC Sum has got another one as well that I got years ago. Let's see if I can find it. JC Sum, and there we go. Okay, yeah. So there's a few more for JC Sum as well. The Event Magician Volume 1 and 2 is really good, and that's got some illusion plans in it. Anything by JC Sum is great, to be perfectly honest. But JC Sum has got... I'm trying to find out which one because it's worth me telling you. The Event Magician Volume 2 would be the one, I think, yeah. So, yeah, he talks about a bunch of different illusions that you can build. He's also got pack flat illusions for kids and family shows, which is great. The birthday cake table is fantastic. You can make a birthday cake appear completely surrounded. I actually built one of those many, many years ago, so that's really cool. And then the only other one that I can see by JC Sum is Urban Illusions, which is the book explains 10 cutting-edge illusions that are modern in design, building methods and materials, no conceptual illusions, ideas or notions, only practical and prototyped illusions that can be built. Now, I've got one of those that I actually still do in my show called The Fortress, which is like a cross between the assistant's revenge and the metamorphosis, or the subtrunk. So the idea is it's like a cage, and the magician stands in the cage, and then the assistant comes forward, stands in front of the cage, brings up a cloth like in the subtrunk, but then they drop it and they've changed places and the person's in the cage immediately. It's really good. So there's a few starts, and you might also want to look at illusion plans on library.com. So there's your reference points. Good luck, and I hope it goes well. Okay, so the next question is the Fess is from the Fess. How you doing, Fess? Hey, Craig. Want to know your opinion on Leviosa by Joel Miranda. I know you saw it at Blackpool and you seem to really enjoy it, but from what I've seen, I have a few reservations. My main worry is it seems like a one-trick pony because of how it's been marketed compared to a lot of other devices that have brought out recently, primarily Gravity, which both Leviosa and Gravity can do the haunted deck routine, minus the deck float and self-containment properties that Leviosa has. I feel Gravity is the better buy that can achieve the same effect plus more. Leviosa is programmable, but routine-wise may not be as powerful as Gravity. So I've got Gravity and I've got Leviosa. Gravity is great because you can do a billion different things with it. But honestly, I think that moment with Leviosa where the deck goes straight up into the into the magician's hand is killer. I love that moment. And I think that is what makes Leviosa so strong, in my opinion. I saw it at Blackpool. I loved it at Blackpool. Having now picked it up, I'm going to be reviewing it soon, but having now picked it up, I love it. I really do. I think it's a fantastic idea. The actual haunted deck itself is great. What's really nice about it is it's completely self-contained. So the unit it's built all inside the pack of cards, right? So when you want to go into it, you go into it when you want to go into it, and all you have to do is take the deck and cut it, and it happens automatically. And when you put the cards back in the box, it's reset, ready to go again. It's very, very practical, and you can do it with people literally standing right there watching every second. That moment where you just go and it goes into your hand, it's killer. So I would say it's worth every penny. I bought it. It wasn't sent to me. I bought it, and I really love it. I do. I think it's great. And I had a rough idea or a rough inkling of how it works. Now I've got it. I'm very happy with the method. And you couldn't achieve this with Gravity. Yeah, you could probably achieve something that looks similar to the haunted deck, but I think that moment is the money shot. That moment there where you just kind of, because here's the thing, I love it because it's almost like offbeat. It's like, oh yeah, I need the deck. If you could really do magic, you would do that. You would have the deck fly up into your hand and you grab it, right? So I'm going to do a review show on it soon, so I'm not going to mention anything else about it now, but I'd say that it's definitely practical, and I'm very glad that I picked one up. Okay, so the next question is from TV Elliott, and TV Elliott says, Craig, what's your favourite foods? I've been on a diet for the last 3 months, which has been a nightmare, to be perfectly honest. But I like everything, really. Just an eclectic range of stuff, whatever, Mexican, Spanish, Chinese, Indian, American, just like anything. I'm a decent cook myself, but Sarah's way better cook than me. But what's my favorite food? My favorite dessert is cheesecake. My mum used to make the best cheesecake when she was alive. And if I had to pick one meal that I'd have over anything else over and over again, would probably be chili. I love chili. I'm a huge chili fan. Okay, so the next question is Stuart Vlogs, who says, hi Craig. Hey, buddy. I found time to catch up on some magic TV. Awesome videos as ever. Who needs sleep anyway? Exactly. Anyway, I wanted to ask you some very specific advice. I absolutely love The Fall by Noel Qualter, but I'm struggling to find the confidence to perform it. I've practiced a decent amount of times using a makeshift frame to hold the plastic bag, but it's hard to tell how it'll play out in the real world. Noel's tutorial is great, but I was just wondering if you do the effect and if you had any tips to add. Well, yes, I've done the effect and I continue to do it. I think it's a really great trick. I think it's one of the best tricks that I've picked up in the last year, to be perfectly honest. In terms of any advice, there's no advice I can offer with The Fall beyond what Noel went through in the tutorial. He went through it very, very clearly, and very, very succinctly. What I would say is just go out and do it. This is a problem that a lot of magicians have. They buy a new trick and they want to put it into their act. They want to go out and perform it to real people, and they don't. The amount of magicians that I know that buy something new, they put it into their close-up case once they've rehearsed it, and it travels with them to every gig over 6 months, and then it ends up just getting taken out the close-up case because they've never done it. And it's because you're used to performing certain routines, and you know that you're going to get good reactions from those routines, so you kind of question why you're putting something new into the act, right? And I totally get that. I've had the same, but I kind of force myself to put new material in. And the question you have to say to yourself is, what's the worst case scenario? Because if you can live with that worst case scenario, then what's the problem? What's the worst case scenario with the fall? You screw it up. Oh well, that happens. Trust me, if you are scared of screwing up, you're never going to be a magician, because at some point we're all going to screw up one way or another, right? Just ask David Williamson when he did that trick, and the kid, I can't remember his name, Rory or something. The kid just like split the cards and said, hey, there's 2 cards there. And that was on national TV. Didn't do his career any harm. Don't be scared of messing up. It happens. Find somebody that you know that you can trust and perform it to them. Do it as a one-on-one on that person first of all. Find somebody who's a lay person but will give you honest feedback and say to them, look, I want to show you tricks every so often. It's going to be new stuff that I'm working on. I'd really like your honest opinion. And then tell them to be honest. If they like it, tell them to tell you. If they don't like it, tell them to tell you. That's really what I would say with that. Now, with regards to the fall specifically, my advice is, remember not to make a big moment. Don't telegraph or put any heat on the moment where you're kind of steadying up without giving too much away, you're steadying everything up, because that's the moment. You have to understand that that is the moment that the move happens, right? The moment that it goes through, that's the moment of magic. Everybody's going to be looking at the card that's penetrated through the bag. The moment before that, that's the moment where you're kind of really doing the trick. So you want to have no focus on that. And instead, you want to have focus on when the card penetrates through. And you want to put a disconnect between the 2 moments, so they're separated by time misdirection. When you're doing that moment that you don't want to focus on, ask them a question. Say, hey, are you right-handed or left-handed? If you go watch my performance videos, that's a question I ask a lot, especially when I'm loading a card under a watch, or I'm loading a thing on a shoulder or something like that, because at that point, I'm trying to grab their attention. I'm trying to take their attention away from what I'm doing, and the best way to do that is to ask a question. You look people directly in the eyes, you ask a question, that's when you're going to grab their attention away from what you're doing. If I'm staring at the thing I want them to not look at, and I'm focusing attention there and they can see I am, that's a problem. And a lot of people, when they're performing magic, especially with sleight of hand, they'll telegraph the moment that the move happens, because they're kind of this tension building up to that moment, which is then released afterwards. So focus on not making that a big deal. Okay, so the next question is from Magic Elliott, who says, hi Craig, I'm planning to learn Dan Harlan's Starcle over the summer. I think it'd make a great hidden gem, as it's a classic, but many people may not know about it now. I agree, man. Do you perform it? And if so, do you feel it's necessary to vanish the napkin before revealing the star? Dan says it is, but I'm not convinced. I have performed it in the past. It's something actually that I've been meaning to teach to Ryland, because Ryland's got a certain moment in his show, and this would be absolutely perfect for that. So it's something I've been meaning to teach to Ryland. I think it's great as an impromptu trick as well. It's absolutely brilliant. If you guys don't know what it is, go check out Starcle on Penguin Magic. You can get it as a download. You watch that performance, you'll immediately want to be able to do it. It's so cool. And I agree with you. You don't need to vanish the napkin at all. You can do if you want to, but that you don't need to. I don't think it adds or takes anything away. I think it's down to personal preference as to whether you do that or don't do that. So if you feel that that's not needed, then great, make it your own. The one thing that I talk about here on this channel all the time is taking magic and making it your own. Just because Dan says, or anybody says on a tutorial, you have to do it this way, it may be their trick. It doesn't mean that that's the correct way to do it. If you can see a better way of doing it, do it. I constantly take people's marketed tricks and change them around to fit me better. And I think that that's something that we should all do, because then we're infusing a bit of us into the performance instead of just parroting other people. Okay, so the next question is more of a statement, and it's from Ulysses Lud1, who says, "Hi, Craig. Those of us with a personal connection to autism appreciate you addressing issues specific to performing magic to those on the spectrum," and then gives a ton of information. I'm not going to read through it because it's quite long, and that's not what the Q&A is all about, because there's not really a specific question here. However, for anybody that was interested in the subject of autism and performing magic for people with autism, this is gold. So go back and look at last week's Q&A and look at the comment from Ulysses. It's brilliant. So thank you for taking the time to post that. That looked like it took a long time to type, and I really appreciate it. Okay, so the next question is from Sam Fuller, Magician. How you doing, Sam? Hope you're well. Hello, mate. Hope you're good. I am, thanks, buddy. I wonder if you have any inner knowledge. I wonder if you have any inner knowledge after the very sad passing of the great Scott Alexander. All of his products are out of sale, out of stock, and his awaited follow-up book is as well. Any whispers of what may happen here? Thanks. No idea. I think immediately Jenny and his wife and whoever just marked it all as out of stock. I imagine they're reevaluating everything in their life right now, and they're trying to work out what's going on. I imagine Scott had a lot of stock, and they're just trying to figure out what to do with it. I don't know what position the book was in. I don't know if it had been finished or if it was close to being finished. If I had to guess, I would say that if the book's not being finished, somebody will step in and ghostwrite it. I imagine that that's the case. And regarding the stock, I wouldn't be surprised if a magic shop came in and bought the rights to everything that Scott has produced from, his... from his family. I could see that happening. I mean, that's what we did with Daryl, right? Murphy's bought the rights to the Daryl Legacy line and have since been bringing it out bit by bit by bit. I could see that happening with Scott Alexander's stuff. I don't know for sure, but if I had to guess, I'd say that's what's going to happen. My advice would be to email the email address on Scott's website and just politely ask what's going on and see if you can get anything from there. Okay, so the next question is from David Blaine, who says, "Loves your videos like always. Thank you very much. Can you make a video talking about your set for close-up and walk-around or EDC effects, maybe self-working? Then explain what each effect you start off with and in the order of the next effects you would perform and why." Yeah, I mean, I kind of talked a little bit about that when I was talking about a video a couple of years ago, and I was talking about set lists and creating set lists and transitioning from one routine to another. But that wasn't specific to a particular thing. That was just generic advice. I think it would probably be a really good idea to talk about my personal close-up sets. I think that would be really good. One thing I've been thinking about doing is getting a GoPro and actually wearing it, or getting a secret camera or something and going to a gig and recording the whole thing and then putting it together as a video with a commentary track over the top, talking about the approach and talking about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and maybe breaking it down into 3 or 4 videos, each one about 40 minutes long. That's something I'm really considering doing at the moment. If that's something you'd like to see, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so the next question is from Matthew Wennell. How you doing, Matthew? Hope you're well. Hi, Craig. The magicians who go on America's Got Talent, do they come up with the whole trick themselves, or do the producers help you make it bigger? Also, Ryland's audition was amazing. Did he come up with that routine? So, great question. So, America's Got Talent is very different to Britain's Got Talent. Britain's Got Talent's got Russ Stevens, who is a genius, and Russ will help any of the acts. You have to go to him with an act, and then he will help you develop that act a little bit more. But you've got to go to him with something. You can't just go to him and you can't just go and say, "Hey, I want to go on TV. What you got?" That just won't work. But if you go, so Ryland, when he went on Britain's Got Talent, he did a bunch of cube magic, and he knew he wanted to do the cue ball and the cube in bottle, and Russ worked with Ryland to kind of stage it all in the way that it was. In terms of AGT, they don't have a Russ Stevens. They've got nobody. And all I can do is talk about Ryland's process onto there, which was we went to them with a pitch. That act that you saw Ryland do in the auditions, which thank you very much for saying it's amazing. That act that Ryland did in the auditions, we pitched that to them. So we were like, hey, this is what we want him to do. And I wrote a script out. I scripted it. So with stage directions, and Ryland's going to say this, Ryland's going to say that. This is what's going to happen here. This is what's going to happen there. I didn't discuss method, but they could read through that script and see exactly what was going to happen from beginning to end, right down to the UV reveal on the desk. So everything was in place, and then America's Got Talent said yes, and we got to work. In terms of did Ryland come up with the routine? Me and Ryland sat down when we started talking about America's Got Talent, and I said, right, what do you want to do? And his first thing was, I want to get away from cubes. Not that he doesn't love cubes. He does. It's just that he felt like he was getting like typecast into cubes. So he didn't want to do cubes. He wanted to do something else. And the methodology behind the act that you saw him do was very similar to something else he does, because he loves John Morton's material. So he does something else using superheroes with the same tech knowledge. So that kind of was something that he kind of already did. But the drawing thing, the idea of using drawings was Ryland's, because my original idea was to use letters and to have letters to create a magic word. He wanted to use drawings and then have that magic word kind of then be a surprise. Yeah, the desk thing, yeah, whatever. It was a joint effort, along with some input from a couple of other friends who will probably want to remain nameless. But yeah, I mean, the bottom line is, this is a perfect opportunity to thank people like Phil Smith, because Phil Smith, I lent on him very heavily to create all of the drawings in the act, and Phil was amazing. And John Morton, who created the actual prop that made that work. And also Drew Perry, who's a genius, who created when we knew we wanted to do the UV reveal on the desk, everybody I went to said it can't be done. And I went to Drew, who's a special effects expert, and he was able to say, actually, well, initially he said, no, it can't be done. And then he went away and he came back and he went, actually, it can be done, and this is how we're going to do it. So, it was a very much a joint collaborative effort. But in answering your main question, the producers will give you notes, and they'll say, hey, this is good, or this is not so good, or hey, we're thinking about this. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's your act. Okay, so the next question is from Marty Jago, 8636, who says, hi, Craig. Do you know what happened to Tyler Lunsford? He hasn't brought any content out on his channel for months. Yeah, it's been 3 months. I have no idea where he is. He is very good friends with Matt Cluley in my office, Matt, and I've just spoken to Matt actually about this, not because I knew you were answering a question, but I wanted to find out about something else. And he said that he's just been very busy with life and with his day job, and he's planning on putting a few more videos up soon. So I just think life's got in the way, because Tyler is a very busy person. He does a lot more than just a YouTube channel. And trust me, it's a lot of hard work to put a YouTube channel together. So I think life's just got in the way. But I think we'll be seeing more of Tyler Lunsford very soon. Okay, so the next question is from DanceMickey8461, who says, my question for you, Craig, is the Zarro or the push-through strip-out best? Well, you know what? I learned both of them, and I don't really do them very often at all. And the reason is it's rare that I'm sitting at a table with a close-up pad. And for those people that don't know what he's talking about, the Zarro shuffle is basically a full deck, full shuffle that's done on the table. And the push through is another way of doing a full deck, full shuffle. Both of them are designed to look like the same thing. The Zarro looks a little bit messier, but you need a table and you need a close-up pad on the table, and I don't have either, really. So my favourite shuffle, if I'm going to do a full deck, full shuffle, is the truffle shuffle, which is like the waterfall version where you do this, and that's my favourite full deck, full shuffle, because it looks and sounds like a shuffle. It really does. And when you're doing a full shuffle, you don't want to draw attention to it. You don't want to say, now look, I'm going to shuffle the deck. The deck is now being shuffled. Please notice that the deck is in a complete mix-up. You don't want to do that. As you're talking, as you're chatting, you're just saying, so I'm going to show you something with a pack of playing cards. Does anybody here play cards? Anybody any good at shuffling cards? It's okay. I'll give them a shuffle. It's fine. And also the other thing is you don't have to do a waterfall shuffle. I mean, this is a perfectly acceptable full deck full shuffle. This is an overhand full shuffle that I think looks really good. And I can do it without looking at my hands, which is great. So as I'm talking to the audience, and I say, hey, we're going to try something with a deck of playing cards right now. Does anybody here play cards? You do, right? Okay, I'm going to have you pick a card in a minute. But I'm going to spread them out face down, not face up. Is that okay? That's good, fantastic. Thank you very much. Something like that works absolutely fine. Heck, the old Charlier shuffle works great. If you're just acting like the cards are unimportant. Hey, I've got these cards here. You can see that there's a bunch of them. There's 52 cards. It's a full deck, but you can see they're all mixed up and they're all different. The Rosetta shuffle is a great shuffle, but you need the table to do it, so that's not really that great. A shuffle that I talked about on Forecast, which was my project on the memorized deck, is this, where you do you show that you actually shuffle these cards together. I haven't done this in a long time. You show that you've shuffled the cards together with like a faro shuffle, and then you strip them out as you just give them a cut onto the table. That can look quite good if you do it on the offbeat. So if you're like, hey, I'm going to give these cards a shuffle, would you say that's a pretty good shuffle? Yeah, it is. Fantastic. So I need somebody to help me. Can you help me? You can? Fantastic. Let me, I'm going to have you pick a card. And you break the action down. So you break down the actual faro, so you get yourself into position where you show that they are actually being shuffled together. Then you get yourself into a position to do the strip out, but you're holding that position for a while. You're chatting, you're talking to somebody, you're looking them in their eyes, and then you cut the deck and you do the strip out. And the important thing here is when you're doing the move. So when I'm doing the initial shuffle, I look at the deck and I show the deck like this. But then when I'm going to actually get into position to do the strip out, I'm not looking at the deck at all. Now I'm looking at the audience. Now I'm looking at a spectator. I'm asking a question, and then I do the strip out. I remember playing around with a full shuffle ages ago, which was a combination, and I don't do it, I never did it, but it was a combination between a one-handed cut and a Hindu shuffle. And the idea was that you do a Hindu shuffle, but as you do a one-handed cut, which is actually putting the cards back into the original order, and then the final one you can do a table double undercut, and you've left the cards in full deck shuffle. You left the cards back in the same order, which is quite an interesting idea really when you think about it, to do something like that. So there's that. But that's kind of a long-winded way of saying that I don't do really anymore a push through or a Zaro shuffle, because I'm never in a position where I'm able to use them. Okay, so the next question is from Adrian Suter, who says, how you doing, Adrian, by the way? One problem as a hobbyist, particularly in coin magic, is that many routines require 3 or 4 different sleights, all new to me. Do you know good coin routines with only one sleight, which can be expanded with more sleights as I become better? Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, I haven't got a coin on me, have I? Yeah, I have. Is that a coin? Yeah. So if you think about it, the one coin routine is just one sleight. And I love doing a one coin routine. I do it an awful lot as a warm-up at a gig. The one coin routine is just one sleight. You just do the same vanish over and over again. Yeah, you can expand on it with different sleights, but it is in essence one sleight. You know, look, I'm going to put the coin over here and it jumps over here. I'm going to put the coin over there and it jumps down there. I'm going to take the coin and put it over there and it jumps over there. If I hang it in the air over there, it jumps over there. If I take the coin and put it on the table, it looks like it's invisible until I pick it back up again. Look, hold your hand out. Look, if I put it in your hand, it disappears, it goes behind your ear. If I put it here, I can make it go right through the back of my hand. Look, let me do that again. I'll put it right through the back of my hand. All of that is really just one move. And then when you get good at it, you can expand with retention vanishes, or Lahom mask loads, or back thumb palms, and so there's a lot more that you can actually expand on it. But in terms of a really nice coin routine, one coin, that's all you need. By the way, if you get a double-sided coin, you can do so much with if you get a copper silver, you can do an awful lot with a copper silver, because you can have the coin in finger palm and produce the copper side and say, look, I've got a copper coin here. Then you can put the copper coin into your hand and you can say, look, there's a silver coin over here. So now you've produced the silver one. And now you can do, there is another move to it, but you can do Jay Sankey's pointing transfer. So you can say, look, the copper's over here, the silver's over here. Remember, the copper's over here, the silver's over here. Which one do you want to use? The silver, not the copper, right? Okay, well, if I take the copper and wave it over the silver, that's when the silver vanished. That leaves us with just the copper. What if I take the copper and squeeze the copper vanishes and you're left with nothing? So you can do an awful lot, but that's just two moves. It's the vanish and the pointing transfer. But if you think about it, you could not use the pointing transfer. So you could just say, look, I've got a silver coin and I've got a copper coin. So I've got this I've got this copper coin over here, this silver coin here. Name one, copper or silver. Copper. Okay, I'm going to wave the copper over the silver and the silver vanishes. But now if I squeeze, the copper vanishes and we're left with absolutely nothing. So a lot of the one coin routines, and don't forget that just using a vanish, you can do so much stuff. So a vanish can be used to do a coin through the table. A vanish can be used to go through the hand. It can be used to go through the hand the other direction. It can be used to do a transposition. You can have it go up through the table like that, or down through the table. You can go through a spectator's hand. You can go through your own hand. There's so much you can do just with the use of a vanish. So I'd think about all the different things that you can do with a vanish and then expand on from there. Okay, so next question is by Divishan Magician, who says, apart from French Kiss and Siamese Waltz, do you know any romantic tricks good for Valentine's Day? The one by Matthew Underhill, which you can get as part of the Gaft pack at World Magic Shop, or it's available as its own standalone thing. The one is amazing, and it's a World Magic Shop trick. So get the one. That's really good. I'm also going and looking at John Allen's shop now. And the reason I'm looking at John Allen's shop is because he's awesome. Oh no, I've gone on to Penguin Magic accidentally there. There we go. He has, let's have a look. He bought something out of Blackpool. I'm just trying to see if it's got it here. It was a really nice, there you go, Anniversary Hearts. Anniversary Hearts. That's what we're looking for. Anniversary Hearts. There we go. Really nice trick. There's nothing more powerful in magic than an effect with a truly personal touch and meaningful presentation. Anniversary Hearts is a well-known premise to a whole new level in a 3-phase routine. A couple give each other a personalized heart. They match each other's choices, and finally both individual hearts become a single personalized heart. There's so many times when the magic trick becomes more than just a magic trick. So much meaning is attached to it in props, the presentation, and the overall imagery. It has a lasting emotional impact on people. Anniversary Hearts is one such magic trick. Perfect routine for weddings, anniversaries, offers an experience a couple will cherish forever. You get 2 reusable red acrylic hearts, 10 giveaway hearts, and then you can get other giveaway hearts and extras and so on and so forth. So I saw that at Blackpool and I absolutely loved it. So look at the one by Matthew Underhill, World Magic Shop. Look at Anniversary Hearts by John Allen. And then finally, if you're on the Netrix, go and have a look at EZ Waltzer, EZ Waltzer. It's my version of Anniversary Waltz with a regular deck of cards, and most pros that I've spoken to in the UK say they use that as their main Anniversary Waltz handling. Okay, Divishan Magician has one other question, which is, can you do a talk magic with Ben Hart? I'll keep it really simple. Yes, I would love to. Reached out to Ben a little while ago, but he was busy. He's on my agenda to reach out to again. Hopefully I'll get round to that sooner rather than later. Jason Staples says, am I going to the Newmarket meetup? Yes, I am. I'm definitely going to the Newmarket meetup. It's on the 11th and the 12th of November, and Wayne Goodman organises it all. And it's going to be Ryland's birthday like last year. So Ryland turns 11 on the 12th of November, so it's going to be his birthday. So he's going to get to do what he loves doing on his birthday, which is performing. So yes, I will be there, and I can't wait to hang out with everybody. The other question that you've got is, how about a 5x5 on Pat Page? Lovely idea, love it, already on it, definitely going to happen. Okay, so Adrian Suter's got one more question, which is, can you recommend some tricks for a parlour show for themed events? I'm thinking of tricks where the patter can be easily adapted to the theme of the event. I'm doing a video on this, so I'm not going to blow my load right now by going into all of this. But the one thing that I would say, something that is very easily adaptable to any theme that works really well in a parlour situation, is Newsflash 2.0 by Axel Hecklau, which is the torn and restored newspaper. It's the best handling of torn and restored newspaper I've ever seen. But you can adapt that. Once you understand that you can do it with something else other than a newspaper, you can adapt it to absolutely anything. And case in point, go watch Cillian O'Connor's final performance on Britain's Got Talent and go look at how he opened it. He opened it with Newsflash 2.0, that he'd made his own little newspaper, and it was just beautifully done. Newsflash 2.0 is one of the best tricks that you can buy if you want to have something that you can adapt to almost any situation. I'm going to go into stuff like this more detail in the video that's coming soon, but hopefully that'll give you a starting point. Okay, so Anthony Povey 9276 says, "Hi Craig, can you please give more info on Quantum 2 that you mentioned in your 10 ACANs?" Well, I'm not going to give too much information because it's probably not even going to be called Quantum 2, but it is definitely going to be out this year. 100%, 100,000% it'll be out this year. And I worked on it with some of the biggest and brightest names in Magic. And when you see it, I think you're going to be very, very impressed. It's been, I've been using it at gigs now for about a year and a half, something like that. And it's consistently getting stronger reactions than almost anything else I do. It's just incredible. It's totally different to anything that you've ever seen before. So I'm sorry to hype it up too much. I don't want to hype it up too much, but when you see it, you'll understand why. I'm very proud of this. I genuinely think that this is going to be the product that I'm remembered for in the Magic community. Okay, so the next question and the final question is from 0105441N. How you doing, buddy? Hi Craig, thanks for answering my question on multiple spectator effects. You're more than welcome. I was wondering if you had any that are particularly good for table hopping, like 8 to 10 spectators. Thanks again, Steve. Yeah, I mean, man, the one you want to lean into with this is multiple selection. I mean, multiple selection is amazing. You know, if you've got 10 spectators on a table and you very quickly get all 10 people to pick a card, boom, forget about it. It's fantastic. It's really, really great. So I'd recommend that as a starting or a jumping off point. 100% definitely. Just trying to think. Yeah, multiple selection. Any sort of rope routine. Look at Craig's signature rope routine from the Netrix. That's a really great example of a trick that plays to the whole audience. That works really, really well. Also, Imagine by Alakazam. So if you know Imagine by Alakazam, I love that because you can do the mind reading bit over and over again. So you've got the interesting premise of having all of these cards that you've kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? You've got all of these cards, you've got your card collection, they've all got different backs. You're getting different people to pick cards and you're instantly telling them what card they're thinking of. It's great because it almost becomes a challenge. Right, you say stop, that's your card, look at it, remember it. 7 of diamonds, you say stop, 6 of clubs. And then you've got the big finale where the entire deck turns blank. I love Imagine, I really do. I think it's killer. I think it's really, really strong, especially in the environment in which you're talking about. Also, if you're good at doing cube magic with an ungimmicked cube, look at cube magic because you can hand the cube off to somebody and you can have everybody mix it as you're performing something else and they just pass it around the table, and by the time you've finished your set, you take the cube back and then you do something amazing with it. A lot of the time when I've done that, I've then gone into cube and bottle. Not the Vanishing Ink cube and bottle, not the Henry Harriers cube and bottle. So that's an idea as well. Trying to think of anything else. If anything else comes to me, I'll let you know, but those are the ones that instantly pop into my head. So there you go, guys. That's another review show in the bag. It's not a review show, is it? Ignore me. It's not another review show in the bag. It's a Q&A. Thank you so much for joining me right here this week. I really appreciate it. Don't forget, got a review show special later on this evening. I think that's where my brain was coming. So go check that out. There's going to be a Magic Live at 6 o'clock. So there's a lot more coming up today on Magic TV. But like I said at the beginning of the video, I just want to thank you personally for checking out all of the content this week. You want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. I'm going to be back again very, very soon with another video. Don't forget to join the Netrix. www.thenetrix.com, www.thenetrix.com. We've got a Discord server. It's popping. It's jumping off. Everybody's loving it. So go check all that out, and I will see you again soon. My name's Craig from Magic TV.